more. You know, there's something in you going, there's more. But the challenge is making the connection, which would require overriding all that you have been. All right? So that's where the challenge comes in. You know that there must be more, which is why you jump around to all these different religions and organizations, and you become this and you become that, and you change your name and you this and you that. Yeah, we go through all these things. You know, we change the way we dress, we change our hair, we wear makeup, we don't wear makeup. We're trying to find ourselves. We're trying to figure out what fits. You know, how can I get to me? How can I get in there and get to that part of me that really supersedes all of this survival, chaotic experience that I feel like I've been having? How can I do that? So, obviously, in overriding this, however, all right, so in comes the storyline by which you as a system operate. So it's the storyline, it's that base storyline that you came in here with that you are dealing with. So here we also we're going to, of course, we're not done with the storyline because, like I said, this whole thing is based on this storyline. All right, so your identity. Again, how have you identified yourself? Your identity is tied, again, to the storylines. All that you think that you are is the way that you live your life. You do all that is necessary to stay true to the storyline. So wait till I start reading off some of the storylines. I'm telling you all this because when I get to that part, everybody, I'm pretty sure I know everybody will have some sort of jarring in them in identifying some of these things. And there are things I will not even name because there's so many different storylines, the emotion to the storylines. Anyway, so we'll go in. We're going to get ready to go into that, but let me finish on this part of it. So basically, you do all that is necessary to stay true to the storyline. Very crucial point, as you're going to see as we get further along. The fact that you do all that is necessary to stay true to the storyline, even though you get so tired of your life the way it is. You get so frustrated and tired of it. You can't figure out why things can't change. It can't change because you don't know what your storyline is. You don't even know you have a storyline. And you're operating your whole life around this base storyline. Okay, so now we have to move from intellectual, belief, intellectualizing to knowing. All right, so because a lot of people, I talk to all kinds of people and I get emails from all kinds of people, and it's interesting to be able to see and to hear when people are convincing themselves. And I just generally don't have very much to say, because I just let people be and do what they need to do, and I'll just listen. But, there's so much intellectualizing that you realize that person's just trying to convince themselves. And you want to move beyond that if you have to. If you want to really get to the deeper part of you, you have to move beyond that. You have to become real with yourself. It's the bottom line of it. You have to become real with yourself. You have to own what you have been and realize. And the only reason why people might be in denial of who they, of owning who they are and how they operate and how they think is because you think that it is what we would call bad. You are relating all of that to the social programs, the social conditioning of being a good person or a bad person or whatever the case may be. So you don't want to admit who and what you have been because you think it's a bad thing. You don't want to be associated with that. Well, I have news for you. Whether you admit what you are or not, it's still there. You are still being that. So you might as well just go ahead and admit it. One, there's nothing to feel guilty about. There's nothing to beat yourself up about. As a matter of fact, it becomes awfully funny that that's what you've been. And I could tell you some stories about myself and the insane things that I've done and what I have been. And now I can look back and I can laugh that I actually lived through all of those things. For me at that time, that's what I was, and that's what I, thought that I needed to be. And I had to trace the roots to where that came from, why I thought the way I did. And light bulb. When I realized that, it was like, oh my gosh, such freedom, because I was able to own it, admit it. And it could have been one situation in your life that triggers a certain pattern that runs through the entire course of your life. And then one day you see it and you go, oh my gosh. And then it's not about blaming somebody else. It's not about blaming somebody else. And I guarantee you that's what's going on with basically everybody's life. You have to be able to get to that point. You have to be able to see that. Otherwise, you feel like you're just in the setup. You're just in this hamster wheel that you just can't seem to get off. And you can't change anything because you think you can't change anything. Oh, it's a crazy ride. So anyway, so belief systems, belief systems are just that. They are belief systems. That's all that they are. They're just belief systems. They're programs. So whatever that is for you, that's all that it is. You got a bunch of programs. Being real about ourselves and the life we live, experience a great challenge for us. It's a great challenge. It basically is. So let's go into the story. Okay, what is the story? So how does the story play itself out? Okay, how does the story actually play itself out that I've been talking about? What routes does it take? Okay, so I am not naming the story, the potential storylines yet. I'm just naming right now the route that your story takes in order to show up, to manifest. Your career, of course, your job, your relationships, your recreation, things you do for fun, the friends you have or don't have, your family, your health, your moral code, your physical identity, what you think of yourself deep down, what you believe that you are deserving of. How many masks do you wear? That's the question. How many masks do you wear? Because everybody's got their mask on, because you gotta protect your storyline. You gotta stay true. All right, so we've got obviously dissatisfaction in your life, dissatisfaction that runs through your life. Of course, that becomes the energy drain. The dissatisfactions are the energy drains, which is why you want to get to the heart of why you live your life the way you live it and why the recurring patterns, because there's an energy drain. And when there's an energy drain, what does it do? It affects everything. It affects your health, more importantly your health. It affects you, how you look, you're aging more. You've got all kinds of dilemmas associated with the dissatisfactions in your life. And you can't seem to get better from an illness or the relationship or whatever the case may be. You can't seem to. The dissatisfied, because you're too busy being dissatisfied.